Business news now, and the new UK Prime Minister Liz Truss got down to business on her first full day on the job. She faced a parliamentary grilling earlier over the state of the economy, particularly sky-high energy prices. It's a topic she spoke little of during the leadership campaign, but it's by far the biggest item in her inbox. And while she pledged immediate action on energy, she's ruling out new taxes to finance that support.
I understand that people across our country are struggling with the cost of living and they're struggling with their energy bills. And that is why I, as Prime Minister, will take immediate action to help people with the cost of their energy bills. And I will be making an announcement to this House on that tomorrow. I am against a windfall tax. I believe it is the wrong thing to be putting companies off investing in the United Kingdom just when we need to be growing the economy.
A fairly confident-looking Liz Truss there. Well, for more on that and the other business headlines of the day, including how the energy crunch is hampering Europe, I'm joined once again by Arise correspondent Laurie Laird, who's following events from London.
Back again, Charles.
Yeah, lovely to see you again, Laurie. So a busy day for Liz Truss, convening her first cabinet meeting and then going to Parliament to face Prime Minister's questions for the first time. Bring us the key developments of the day.
Well, I agree with you, Charles. I thought that Liz Truss looked immensely confident for someone she has spoken at the Dispatch box when she was Foreign Secretary, but she looked very in control of her domain there. But she did rule out, she discussed the importance of coming up with some kind of an energy package, something that she really didn't cover very heavily on the campaign trail, that very, very small sector of the electorate who elect a Conservative Party leader, not quite as concerned with energy bills as people who are going to have to pay 10 or 15% of their incomes under the new energy price cap. So I think many people are relieved that she has taken this up as her first important issue. We will get a sense tomorrow of what she plans to do. This has been, you and I discussed it yesterday. It looks like it will be some kind of a price cap. Interestingly, economists who are looking through the details or looking through the proposed details or suggested details keep increasing the price of this package. Yesterday, you and I spoke about 100 billion pounds. Now it's looking more like 150 billion pounds. We will find out more tomorrow. Liz Truss, though, also ruled out another windfall tax on energy companies. Now, Rishi Sunak, when he was Chancellor, he was Liz Truss's big opponent for head of the Conservative Party. He did impose a windfall tax on energy companies. Liz Truss has said nothing doing. I am not going to do that. This is the only choice that she can make, having campaigned on being someone who is low tax, a true conservative, somebody who wants to increase productivity by keeping taxes down. So that really, given her campaign, is not an option that is open to her. We will know more tomorrow. I think energy companies will be pleased that they are going to escape a windfall tax at the moment.
And of course, she's appointed, Laurie, the most diverse cabinet in British history. And for the first time, none of the four most senior posts have gone to white men. Reflect on that for us, if you will.
Absolutely remarkable, isn't it? Particularly for the Conservative Party. And this party, particularly over the past 4 or 5 years, has been accused of being not particularly open-minded to immigration issues. And in fact, immigration controls have been really, really constrained under this Conservative government. But you're absolutely right to point out that the big offices of state are all held by women or minorities, starting with Ms. Truss herself, a white woman. And let's look at the Chancellor of the Exchequer, often thought of as the second highest role in government. That's gone to Kwasi Kwarteng, who is the son of Ghanaian immigrants, a very high achiever. He has a double first from Cambridge. He has studied at Harvard. His academic credentials are absolutely impeccable. Move over to the Home Office. Suella Braverman has taken that over. She is the daughter of parents of Indian origin, but both of whom emigrated from East Africa. And then finally, we have James Cleverly, Modi, who is the new Home Secretary, son of a new Foreign Secretary, excuse me there, son of a Sri Lankan mother. So really, this is an unbelievably diverse candidate, and the ministers of whom we will be seeing the most, the holders of those big offices of state, are all not white men. It really is astounding from a conservative party.
And you touched briefly on some of the things that she said today. We know that there'll be no windfall taxes in the UK, but the European Union is pledging to do something of the opposite.
Well, the European Union is doing everything. Ursula von der Leyen spoke today, and we know that the European Union has been discussing an energy price cap. We should get more news on that on Friday. But for the first time, von der Leyen confirmed that the EU is also talking about a windfall tax on energy providers. Two very interesting things here. Some of these windfall taxes, Charles, will fall on providers of green energy, of wind power and solar power, because while we think of these as unalloyed goods and unalloyed positive providers of energy, once the infrastructure for and nuclear as well, but once the infrastructure for these green energy projects is up and running, the marginal cost of production is almost zero. So but the cost that producers are paying is pegged off the gas price, which is astronomical. So these green energy providers are going to be hit with a windfall tax, despite the fact that they have been encouraged to set up and to operate and to feed into the grid all over Europe. So slightly ironic there. But one more thing about that windfall tax is, while economists don't love windfall taxes, and certainly an unpredictable tax regime is not something that companies like, I think that there's an awareness now amongst energy providers that they have to be seen to take some of the hit. And in fact, the head of Equinor, which is the Norwegian partially owned state oil and gas company, came out yesterday and said, absolutely, we should be taxed at a heavier rate. We are making big profits. It's only fair that we pay. So it is a time that these energy providers may feel that, for PR reasons, if nothing else, that they've got to stump up and pay a higher rate of tax.
Well, I mean, we've got about a minute or so left, Laurie. So just skimming through quickly, China, a slowdown in trade. But let's look at a different line of business. What's this about Kim Kardashian becoming a Wall Street mogul?
Remarkable, isn't it? As if this woman didn't have enough to do. But Kim Kardashian has announced that she's starting up a private equity firm with a man called Jay Simmons, who was the principal at the Carlyle Group, one of the big players in private equity. And they're going to be looking for investments in media and in consumer goods. I will tell you that Mr. Simmons, Kim Kardashian's co-founder, and they will be called co-heads of the operation, but Mr. Simmons will be in charge of the day-to-day operations.
As always, Laurie, rocketing through all the big developments. Thank you ever so much. Laurie Laird, Arise business correspondent, talking to me from London.